Drug addicts need to know there's a much better way to live, not punishing them for a treatable disease. Instead of going to prison for a short time, why not send them to treatment centers? They deserve a second chance at a normal life, as long as they have committed no crimes in obtaining their drugs. They are not much different from alcoholics, and they deserve the same right to treatment. Today, I'm going to talk about the many reasons why a nonviolent addict needs rehabilitation, rather than spending their lives locked up in prison. A few years ago, an uncle of mine spent a full year in jail for drugs. He did not have a chance. After he got out, he almost went right back to the way he once was until he realized it wasn't worth it. So then he checked himself into a rehab facility. He is still in rehab till this day, but he's doing much better now than he ever once was. I will tell you how this is a major problem, because I know I am not the only one with a family member or a friend who needed or may have benefited from a substance abuse treatment. First, I want to talk about the influences of drugs while in prison. Drugs are used in prison rather than being prohibited. They entered in prisons in varieties of ways. Inmates at Oakwood Prison say drugs are easier to obtain than soap. When jails allowed inmates to receive Christmas cards, that was the main source of drugs found. One ex-offender got her sister to buy heroin and send it sewn into the hem of a towel. Drugs are thrown over prison walls that are concealed in tennis balls or even in dead pigeons. Some arrive by post because not all letters are scanned. Because of technology, the supply can readily meet the high demand of drugs in jail. Mobile bank apps mean convict dealers can manage payments made outside the prison. Satellite maps on smartphones are used in prison to locate the direct placement of a package when being flung over the walls. Next, I want to talk about the future for an addict who is not getting the correct treatment needed. There are many different downfalls of an addict being sent to jail over being placed in the rehab facility. The death rate of sending an addict to jail is continuing to increase. With no one there to help them become sober, they will get out and could possibly relapse. They will be thinking their tolerance is the same before, making them believe it's alright to take the drug again, and then could possibly overdose. Once addicted, it's almost impossible for people to stop using drugs without treatment. Imprisonment would make an individual suffer from withdrawal symptoms, causing many different health issues. The life of an addict would be ruined if sent to prison without the correct help. DualDiagnosis.org mentions that the U.S. Justice Department notes 2/3 of drug offenders released from prison will return to jail within 3 years. Now, I'm going to explain the benefits of sending them to a treatment facility over prison. The life of an addict should not end over a poor decision made. Scientific studies show that treating addicts reduce their later drug use by 50 to 70% and lowering future arrests by 50 to 60%. Going to treatment centers will help these individuals who are using these low-level drugs understand their dependency. After being sent to a treatment center, these people will learn to identify and avoid what triggers them to use drugs. A study by a Partnership for Drug-Free Kids shows that treatment costs less in the long term. A report on justicepolicy.org stated that the cost for treatment generally ranges from $1,800 to $6,800, far less than the cost of incarceration. Also, in the journal Crime and Delinquency, the researchers found that if just 10% of eligible offenders were treated in community-based programs instead of going to prison, the criminal justice system would save $4.8 billion. With all of these stated and known facts, it is clear that providing treatment to those who need it rather than being in prison is an honorable thing to do. Research shows drug abusers are not a threat to society, but more to themselves. They need help, not confinement.